After the end of World War II in May 1945, approximately 2,000 to 2,600 German soldiers were forced to remove more than 1.3 million landmines that the Nazi army had planted along the Danish coast as part of the defensive Atlas Wall. Towards the end of World War II, with the collapse of the German army, the Nazi regime recruited huge numbers of boys and teenagers to fill the gaps in the ranks, known as the Volkssturm or Hitler Youth. Therefore, a very large proportion of the German prisoners left in Denmark were teenagers between the ages of 15 and 18, and they had not received any real training in mine clearance. The 1929 Geneva Convention explicitly states in Article 32 that prisoners of war shall not be compelled to perform dangerous or unhealthy labor, and mine clearance is extremely dangerous. In order to avoid being accused of violating the convention, the Danish and British authorities, who oversaw the area, resorted to a legal loophole. They refused to call these soldiers prisoners of war. Instead, they referred to them as surrendered enemy personnel. By this legal maneuver, they considered the Geneva Convention inapplicable to them and forced them to work under threat with their bare hands or with very primitive tools, such as long iron rods driven into the sand. In a period of no more than 5 months, from May to September 1945, the result for these young men was that 149 German soldiers were killed by explosions. The suddenness of the dismantling. Approximately 165 others suffered severe injuries, loss of limbs or blindness. 167 sustained minor injuries. This means that about 20% of these captured soldiers were killed or maimed. This incident remained shrouded in secrecy and part of the unspoken in Danish history for a long time, as the prevailing narrative focused solely on the heroism of the Danish resistance against the Nazi occupation. However, in recent years, Danish historians have begun to confront this past, and many human rights activists and historians consider it a war crime committed after the war ended. If you're interested in the human and cinematic aspects of this story, a very popular historical drama film was produced in 2015 that tells this tragedy in detail. It is called Land of Mine, and it was nominated for an Academy Award. It accurately portrays the suffering of these German children and the moral transformation of their Danish supervisor.